Silence.
I didn't do this when it's all set up to go and the damn app's loaded and everything, and then I click it and it's like, oh no, I decided I'm not going to work.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, we'll play it back.
Here we go.
This is Pondelay. I know I oughta come around today to see your daughter. She's rather young and sweet. I'd like to meet your daughter. She's so young. I'm just a butcher down the street. She's holding hostage. I'll measure up some meat and show me sausage, 'cause she's young and sweet. I'd like to meet your daughter. Sausage on a bun. No, I'm no fool. I never drool, but she could make me lick me lips. But she's so young, I won't use tongue. I'll just wait for me fish and chips. This is Pondelay. I know I oughta come around today to see your daughter. She's rather young and sweet. I'd like to meet your daughter. Come on, little girl.
2, 3, 4. Sausage in a bun.
Sausage in a bun, yes. Quality music. We now have unnecessarily long theme music. I really feel that makes us as a podcast now. You know.
Well, the original version was supposed to be the intro.
Yeah.
But you were insisting that we listen to the charming story of the butcher who has a crush on a young lady down the street and has to ask her mother for permission to see her.
It's a good song. I feel like you deserve recognition for it.
It's a touching little tale.
It's a touching little ditty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, there's just too much innuendo going on now.
Oh, innuendo.
Anyway, let's welcome to this week's edition of the Squatchable podcast, where we take a look at some of the news in the Bigfoot world, such as it is. Joining me as always from Power Breakdown, Phil Pulling. Phil, how are you?
Hi there.
Phil, you're doing your Midnight at the Oasis podcast after this?
I am doing that tonight. We're going to have some just silly headlines, and there's a lot of silly headlines tonight. But the main topic is going to be one of your favorites, actually.
Are you doing the McElroy?
I am talking about a town in northwestern Missouri called Skidmore.
Yes.
Who had a little bit of a problem with a local resident.
Oh, I didn't think you were actually going to do it. That's awesome.
Well, you know, it is a story that's been around, but it's definitely worth talking about. It's and mainly because of the social aspect question that arises as to when do you take the law into your own hands? In there lies the conundrum.
Yeah. No, it's such a good story, and it's this rabbit hole you go down.
It's a horrible story.
It's a horrible story. You see it for face value. You read it and you're just like, oh, this whole town decided to kill this one bloke. Well, that seems kind of interesting. And then you just go down this rabbit hole. You know, McElroy is this horrible human being. And I don't condone vigilante justice at all. I don't trust people to be able to, you start killing them for doing all the stuff McElroy did, and then you end up killing people for making too much noise at night.
Yeah, well, the county sheriff was like, after it all happened, he's like, "You guys couldn't wait a week?" And they said, "We waited for years." Well, anyway, so we'll discuss that nice little story tonight and ask the audience what they might think about the question as to were they correct in their actions or were they not?
Yeah,
Audience, what they might think about.
It's such a rabbit. Like I said, it's such a rabbit hole, and that is the question you're left with when you finish studying that story. Was the town ultimately justified, or
Right.
or
Were
was
they
it,
not?
or did they just go too far?
Yeah, well, we all have our thoughts. And I want to hear everyone's thoughts. So be there tonight on Para Breakdown at 11 o'clock Pacific.
Awesome. For silly headlines and the vigilante killing of Ken Rex McElroy, which is I can't tell you how much of a true crime nut I am, but that is one of my all-time favorite stories. So I will look forward to that. I might even go to sleep after this show just so I can wake up early and watch it live.
Well, you're a little under the weather anyway, so you might as well take a nap.
Yeah, I am. I am extremely hungover. So if you enjoy Power Breakdown, you may enjoy the badly drawn misadventures of two Bigfoot. Head on over to Bigfooting with Keith and Colin, where this week the Bigfoot Devil makes a terrible deal. That's this week. Huh?
I'm glad they're still doing it.
Oh yeah, man. I get the odd week where I can't think of anything, but I push through it.
Yeah, it's kind of like me. I didn't do one video the entire week. I'm doing the show tonight, but I look. We're in strange times. Okay, we're in
strange times.
We are in some strange times, and sometimes the making of breakdown videos just has to take a back seat once in a while we sort things out.
Aye.
But if I don't do the show tonight, Stephanie's gonna come after me again.
Secret Agent Stephanie.
Yeah, such a lovely lady. If she's listening, Steph, listen. I'm sorry that we haven't been speaking much lately. We live in strange times, and I do look forward to those chats. So don't lose faith. Don't lose faith.
Right.
And our first story.
Yes. Thank you. My mind is nowhere. Our first story is an absolute wonderful video by a YouTuber by the name of Bob Gimlin. Not the Bob Gimlin, a Bob Gimlin. Dreadfun. Fred Dunn, the artist, is doing the illustrations for his work. We are a big fan of Fred Dunn's work. It's about ex-cryptids. It covers three cryptids. They were cryptids: the giant squid, the coelacanth, and the billy ape. I skipped over the giant squid and the coelacanth because they're not relevant. So we're just going to focus on the last 15 minutes of the video, which was all about the billy ape, which was described as a Bigfoot-type creature back in... Well, this thing was discovered in my lifetime. I can remember the big deal about it was. So basically, there'd been stories coming out of Africa for years about a group of lion-killing chimpanzees that were bigger, tougher, more bipedal than any other chimpanzee. There were several expeditions in 1996, 2004, 2001 launched that yielded no evidence whatsoever. In 2004, the expedition was led by Dr. Shelley Williams. She came out with some interesting anecdotal evidence about being bluff charged. They said they found abandoned nest sites and one footprint cast, but they provided no photographic evidence of any of that. The 1996 expedition was launched by George Schaller, a legendary primatologist. He headed into the jungle to research the animal, but he came up with nothing either. It wasn't until 2006 when Cleve Hicks led a study and came back with photographs and DNA evidence. The DNA revealed that this was not a new species at all, but an existing. Is it troop? No, it's not troop. Is it whoop?
If it's Bigfoot's, it'd be a whoop, right?
Right, yeah. A whoop of chimpanzees, of eastern chimpanzees, a known species. Bob goes into great detail about the DNA evidence. He also points out that while they're not a separate genetically, they're a cultural subspecies. They are slightly bigger than normal chimpanzees. They're not like mega gargantuans. They're just like, I think he said like 10 centimeters bigger. And he also points out that billy apes, unlike most chimpanzees, are incredibly timid. And the reason the initial expeditions failed was because the researchers didn't go deep enough into the forest. He theorizes that if chimpanzees avoid humans habitually, then Bigfoot, which is said to be more intelligent than chimpanzees, could do so easily as well. He also points out that all primatologists that study gorillas, chimpanzees, and orangutans say that sightings in the wild happen when the ape is ready and not when the researchers are ready. So he's a dyed-in-the-wool believer in Bigfoot from the sound of it. He was not impressed by Dr. Shelley Williams. He didn't outright say it, but he was pretty clear that he didn't think much of her story about being bluff charged. But it's a great video. The link is in the description. And I highly recommend that you watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So, what did you think?
First of all, I thought the entire video was very well done.
Mm-hmm.
I did watch the entire thing. I watched all three cryptids as far as the explanations and so forth. This guy is right on target. He's done his research and he's presented facts. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to the billy ape, he actually cleared up some things for me because I was completely unaware of the last expedition. And when he started to compare the size of the billy ape to a larger, or let's say one of the larger eastern chimpanzees, again, we're talking about like a 3% difference. I mean, one that you probably would never even notice. They are a sturdy troop of chimpanzees, and they are deep into the forest for a reason. It's like anywhere where there's a population of human beings, these things will not be seen. You will not see them anywhere, not until you get 20 miles, 30 miles away. And here again, he said that they had managed to gather 8 hours of footage of the billy ape, but it took them a month to get it.
Yeah.
And that's knowing where they were. And the billy apes did not come out. These eastern chimpanzees, which is what the DNA proved they were, they did not come out until they were comfortable with them. When they knew that they were not a threat, then they would kind of gradually come out a little bit at a time. And that's when they began to photograph them. So Bob really does, I think, hit the point that a more intelligent primate, such as a Bigfoot, would even be more so adept at hiding, for one thing, that would be a little more cautious and would only show themselves if they were comfortable with a person being in that area. Which tends to tell me that if you're researching, it's always a good thing, I think, to research the same area over and over, as long as you find evidence and you believe that there is a family unit somewhere in that area. Stick to it. Don't just bounce from one area to another, because you never know when they're just going to make an appearance for you. And that's what Freeman did. You know, his work area was right up in there. What are they? Not the what's it they call that? The Blue Hills area of Washington State. I can't remember, but he was all up through those logging trails, logging roads, and so forth. And apparently, they realized that this weirdo with this thing, on his eyeball, was okay. And and sure enough, the young one shows up, and the mom comes to get the young one, and all that. So, and I still think that's an authentic Sasquatch. For those of you who wonder,
Phil is very pro Freeman footage.
I really am. The guy went the extra mile to attempt to disprove the tracks in an attempt to disprove the video himself, which is what you're supposed to do as part of a scientific methodology.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Unfortunately, that came back to bite him, because people were accusing him. Hey, he falsified prints. He falsified a video. Yeah, he was testing his hypothesis.
And as you said, that's exactly what you're supposed to do.
That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So once you're done listening to us, please watch the Bob Gillen video. I cannot recommend this enough. Lovely YouTube channel, a lot of research, very well done.
The guy is definitely top shelf. He knows his stuff. He's an educated person.
Defo, for real. Okay, moving on. Do we have commercials this week?
Well, I suppose that if you want a commercial, I suppose I can get one.
So a word from our sponsors.
Why is this happening?
Do you remember 70s home cooking guru Fanny Craddock? Do you feel we've lost some of our wholesome domestic values? So do we. So we've created an eatery that adheres to her eating ethos.
Fanny's Bakery. There's always a bun in the oven in Fanny's.
You'll find a safe and warm haven at Fanny's where you can eat away to your heart's desire. Everyone who visits walks away feeling sated and satisfied because, let's face it, everyone's welcome in Fanny's.
Fanny's Bakery. There's always a bun in the oven in Fanny's.
From warm tarts to sticky chocolate fingers, moist buns to a tasty pair of puddings, you'll find everything very satisfying. And if you want a mouthful of delicious dairy, try Fanny's Special Selection, always filled with creamy goodness. Everyone gets filled to bursting in Fanny's.
Fanny's Bakery. There's always a bun in the oven in Fanny's.
So, visit Fanny's today. Everyone's welcome to come.
That's near you, I think, somewhere.
Yeah. Right. That's definitely in my area.
Mm-hmm.
We've all been to Fanny's Bakery at one point in our lives.
I wish they'd come to the States.
Yes, that would be very good. You fucking asshole. All right. I can't. Oh, my brain. That just knocked me off my. Every once in a while, you'll play a commercial and it just completely knocks me off my train of thought. I'm just like, what's going on now? Where am I?
You jumped the tracks again.
Jump the tracks. That's what's going on. Okay. Bigfoot sounds around my camera is the next video. This is not worth any of your time whatsoever. I'm just going to warn you all. It's 3 minutes. 3 minutes of my life I will not get back. It's a dude recording on a cell phone, a monitor. He hasn't uploaded the footage exactly. And the reason for this becomes very clear because it's very heavily edited. Like, there's obvious. Sometimes you have to look to see cuts. This time it's very obvious that there's cuts. It sounds like traffic. I mean, there is the odd noise that could be considered a whoop or chattering, if I was going to be generous. But it just sounds like traffic to me. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. That's my review of this video. Phil, what did you think?
Oh, it was fantastic, man. It's like from the beginning to end. It honestly sounds like he's got a loop of raccoons chattering, like
Yeah.
it plays over and over again.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, where have I heard that before? Oh yeah, 3 seconds ago. It made me chuckle. I keep thinking this guy, on these type of things. I am suspecting that it's a prank.
Oh yeah.
Rather than a deliberate, attempt at hoaxing.
Oh, yeah. You can't take this seriously at all.
Right. And it is. It's not that funny, but I mean, why can't they come up with hilarious pranks instead of this kind of crap? I'm just saying.
Garbage.
Just saying.
Just yeah. And if you felt like doing a breakdown about it, that'd be
no way.
No way.
Screw that one. No.
Be an easy 30-second video.
Yeah, it would.
Just be like, this is crap.
Yeah. Unsub. I'm unsubbing this guy. Yeah. I used to love your videos, but you know what? Screw you. I'm gone.
Not anymore. Yeah. This is an awful video. The link is in the description. Don't watch it. Moving on. Oh, do we have any another word from our sponsors?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Say, Dad, I have an upset stomach.
I've got just the thing. Dr. Whitaker's Larded Atoms. Dr. Whitaker's Larded Atoms combine the smooth, pleasing flavor of lard with the soothing qualities brought to us through science.
It smells funny.
That's our special ingredient, uranium, the scent of the powerful atom. It's strong, but that's how you know it's working. Feeling better yet, sweetheart?
Sure am. Thanks, Dad.
Don't thank me, thank science.
If you want to be sure that the product is pure when you ask for drug preparation, buy the Rexall line at the Rexall sign of Rexall identification. Good health to all from Rexall.
Yeah.
We're owed a small fortune by that company by now, by my estimation.
Hey, I'm getting my check.
Our next video is Sasquatch 2020, Bigfoot captured Mississippi, Swamp Skunk Ape eating worms, Bigfoot captured 2020. The title alone is a red flag. It was posted by Yeti Mania. It's pixeled to, well, it's really pixeled. He's standing like, I don't know, 10 feet away from the supposed primate. You stand that close to a primate, it's going to know you're there. When the object of the video stands up to pull at the tree, it's fairly obvious that it's a costume. It's a nice little hoax video. Don't get me wrong. They're our bread and butter as Bigfooters. Can't go a week without watching one of these lame hoax attempts. And, hashtag make hoaxes great again. That's what I'm saying. What did you think, Phil?
Well, I got to hand it to the guy. It looks really convincing. The way he recorded it, and the mannerisms of the target, the creature or whatever. It is very apish in the way it's behaving, tearing the tree apart, looking for grubs, that sort of thing, and just kind of holding his arm out slightly and just letting the rotten wood drop into the water and all that kind of stuff. It's like, it looks extremely authentic. I can see how people would say this is a real thing, but the action of the placement of the person recording it, he never really tells how far away he is, but you can tell he is using a telephoto. He is zooming in on the subject.
Mm-hmm.
He's zooming in, and it's like, God, if he comes across this thing, and this thing doesn't notice that he's walking up there, come on.
Yep. Especially if it was foraging. I mean, animals are really conscious when they're foraging. That's when they're most alert.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, or hunting. I mean,
Or
when
hunting.
when a Sasquatch is hunting, he's deliberately hiding
Right. Yeah. He's
because he has to come up on the prey. You know, whether it's a chipmunk or squirrel that he's going to pop with a rock, or a deer that he's going to break the hind leg of, because that's how they do it.
that's how they do.
Yeah, according to Moneymaker, that's how they do it.
Well, that man's a bona fide expert. So if the money man is saying it, then that's good enough for me.
He's such an expert. He's the first guy to tell you there's no such thing as a Bigfoot expert.
Exactly.
That's how much of an expert he is.
That's how on the ball this man is, ladies and gentlemen. Alrighty, you got anything else to say about this video? Or?
I think I pretty much said it all. I did make a breakdown of it before, and people really didn't like the breakdown because I did poo-poo it a bit, and basically because of the actions of the photographer, and it did look like a suit to me. It looked like it was too baggy, too furry, no real muscle definition or bald spots. You would think you'd see some thinning spots in the fur somewhere, but it did look like the carpet squatch type of a situation to me. So I called it probably as doubtful. That's the way I saw it. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. It looked totally like a costume, especially when it stands up. It's just a carpet squatch.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think.
Hashtag make hoaxes great again. Do we have a word from our sponsors?
Well, of course.
Are you in a band? Are you missing that something special that's keeping you from greatness? Chances are it's your drummer. Some of them are rubbish, but not
the Master Beater. Chances are he's knocking out one now.
The Master Beater is one of the UK's top session drummers with years of experience at creating wild drum patterns. So if you need a quick one knocked out, he's your man. He's been playing with others and himself since he was old enough to hold a stick and can knock a quick one off the wrist at the drop of a hat.
The Master Beater. Chances are he's knocking out one now.
He's very versatile and unlike most can use either hand and has even been known to swap hands during a performance. And his signature move, the two-hand Jimmy Shand, is legendary. Although beware, he sometimes beats too hard. In fact, he once went through 4 skins in one night.
The Master Beater. Chances are he's knocking out one now.
If you ask nicely, he may even crack one off in front of you.
Okay.
Well, you've seen that. You've seen that guy at the pub, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
He's always attention-seeking, cracking one off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right in the middle.
Well, that's his gig. So
if he can't find anything else to use, he'll use a bottle. But
no, he'll use anything he can get his hands on, and he doesn't come cheap either.
No, he does not.
He's no sidewalk. He's no streetwalker. Yeah.
Oh, God love you, Phil. Those commercials are the highlight of my day. Where were we? We were talking about Bigfoot. We always talk about Bigfoot. We're moving on now to ktul.com. News, local viral Bigfoot photos at Turkey Mountain are part of Sticky Park social distancing campaign. There's a bona fide article sort of about Bigfoot. I thought that this was definitely worth talking about. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, recent photos of Bigfoot have been revealed as a campaign to get people active, but at a distance. Unless you live under a rock in a cave on Mars, you might be aware of this plague thing that's going on currently.
Especially if you live in Oklahoma.
So basically, but to help change course from the pandemic, there's been a viral campaign involving photos of Bigfoot on the trails. How Yeah, Ryan Howell is the man behind the mask. The River Parks employee used the costume to bring some humor to the situation and promote social distancing. It turns out social distance Sasquatch is just me in a costume, said Howell. I found the man behind the viral Bigfoot costume at Turkey Mountain today. The Tulsa River Parks Department is rolling out a campaign to encourage people to get out and be active on their trails, but keep 6 feet apart. The city is rolling out their campaign Thursday at all Tulsa parks to safely enjoy the outdoors to limit the spread of COVID-19. So there you have it. Social distance Sasquatch.
It's going like gangbusters. Probably one of the best ideas they've ever had. However, having said that, this dude's going to end up getting himself shot.
Yeah. I mean, let's be fair.
Or run over, or he gets close to a road, he's going to be run over by a car.
Obviously. That's
twice.
That's happened. Hasn't it?
Yes, sir.
That's
it's like, hey, let me go into a public area where there's lots of people around from Oklahoma and wear a Bigfoot costume and kind of pop myself up in the grass, tall grass and so forth every once in a while. Bang.
Bang. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it's just in this culture with people, gunning. There are people dedicated to shooting a Bigfoot. Dressing up as a Bigfoot is really dumb.
Yeah, can you imagine some mountain biker, coming back home and, hey, Dad, I saw a Bigfoot up on that trail. Really? Or let me get my gun. I'll go find that Bigfoot.
I'll go hunt me a Sasquatch.
Mm-hmm. Great plan.
I bet there's good eating on a Sasquatch, though, to be fair.
I don't. Well, yeah. You could be right. I'm not going to debate that with you. What would be the use?
The use? No, burgers.
Or sausage in a bun.
Yeah, sausage in a bun. Burgers. Yeah, it's meat. You can have Bigfoot steaks.
Yeah.
You're out there having a good camping trip. You shoot a Sasquatch. Fry them Squatch steaks.
Rustle up some meat.
Exactly. I mean, people eat chimpanzees and gorillas. Why not Sasquatch?
I was often wondering, these tribes, they go out and they trap and eat gorillas. What does gorilla taste like? I bet they taste like humans.
I bet they taste like human, yeah.
So are they cannibals?
I have heard that human meat is pretty tasty.
That's what I've heard. Sweet and tasty and very tender.
Exactly. So you gotta get behind that. I mean, legal cannibalism. Well, it's not legal, is it? I mean, you can't go around killing gorillas.
It was on Fleet Street.
Oh. Really? Is that necessary?
As far as I'm concerned, yeah.
Okay. Well, yes. Well, good. To get that reference in was pretty damn impressive. So I'm going to give you props for that. Massive props for getting a Todd Sweeney Todd reference in.
That's a great story.
It is a great story of cannibalism and hairdressing.
And hairdressing.
So it's got everything. Stuff for men, stuff for women. It's just a complete package.
Yeah. Sharp hair shears.
Sharp hair shears. Pies. I mean,
lots of pies.
Lots of pies. How did we get here? Oh, right, yeah. Eating the Sasquatch. Delicious. I assume. I bet they would. Though. So, people might already be doing it.
Well, you never know. I mean,
that
maybe
might be why Bigfoot learned to avoid us. Was because Native Americans used to kill them and eat them.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, if they'll eat a whale, they'll eat a Bigfoot. Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm not putting him down. I'm 6% Native American myself, which is almost as. Now I'm not going to bring her into it, but
Wow. All right, so we're gonna move away from this topic now. Where are we? We are on the final video of the night. Very terrified real Bigfoot encounter, scared woman's credible real Sasquatch incident. 5 minute. It looked like a news report. That's the best way of describing it. I don't think it was an actual news report. I think it was just produced that way. But it's about Kate Murphy and her 2012 May 29th sighting. She went for an evening stroll in the mountains right off the interstate. They saw a large primate creature running down the hill. Then it goes away from the sighting report to talk about a Bigfoot shop. And a scientist briefly appears on screen to say that there's no evidence supporting the existence of Bigfoot and there are no Bigfoot specimens, like in the fossil record. There's no evidence of any primates at all in North America. And that's the final story. A nice little 5 minute news show-esque production.
You happen to realize where that town was they're talking about, right?
Yeah, it was Boulder, wasn't it? No, Bailey.
Bailey.
Yeah.
What else happened in Bailey recently? Or actually way back in, what was it, 2012?
Yeah.
Remember that? The peeping Tom Bigfoot through the window? That was in Bailey.
No way.
It was in Bailey, yeah. Remember the guy, the hoaxer that had the Bigfoot peeker through the window?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in Bailey.
Bailey, Colorado.
Yeah, and there are a lot of sightings in and around there.
I do remember that. I do remember when I lived in Colorado. You know, I never spent much time in Bailey. I used to drive through it fairly regularly. But I do remember there were a lot of Bigfoot sightings.
Yep. A Bigfoot could throw a rock from one end of town to another.
Mm. It's a tiny town.
Yeah, it's not that big.
No. It's not as small as Last Chance, though, but it's pretty small. There's a reference for my Colorado peeps that listen to the show. Yeah, it's a nice little video. Definitely worth a watch. I wouldn't say it's trash. Sighting report. What can you do with that? It happened.
It happened.
It happened. That's about all you can do with sighting reports.
It's an interesting story. Not as interesting as some.
Yeah.
You know, there was no one getting raped in this story. Yeah, no one being kidnapped in sleeping bags or anything like that. No one attacking cabins with rocks.
Those are the best Bigfoot stories.
But it was a story.
But it was a story. They saw a large ape-like creature running down a hill. It's up there. It happened. That'll wrap us up for this week, though. We will return next week, despite the hopes of many. Tune in to Power Breakdown. What is this? That's not the usual outro. But okay. Phil will be going live on his channel from midnight at the Oasis at 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Ken Rex McElroy. Amazing story.
Mr. McElroy.
Mr. McElroy. Did he have it coming? That's the question you'll have to ask yourself. Well, no, that's not the question. He had it coming. Was the town justified? Is the question you'll ask yourself. We will return next week, hopefully, but with this whole pandemic thing, you know, Bigfoot news is few and far between. I'll find something. We always find something. It's good night from me, and it's good night from Phil.
Good night.
Good night.